Good afternoon, readers of Indian Newslink. We have in our offices today our good friend John Hong, leader of the New Zealand Taxpayers and Entrepreneurs Alliance, popularly known as Tea Party. Welcome once again, John. It's a pleasure to have you with us. We have started countdown of the general election 2020. We've got just a week before the final polling day. If there are three things that you have to hold as the most important in this coming election, what would you say?
Good afternoon, friends of the Newslink in New Zealand. And good afternoon, Venka. It's a great pleasure, honor for me to be with you again just before the countdown of the final result of the elections. I would like to share three of the most important things for the people from the Newslink readers, especially people from the South Asian communities, who have made great contribution to the development, prosperity of our country here in New Zealand. Number one, the Tea Party stands for Taxpayers Entrepreneurs Alliance, acronym of the three words, Taxpayers Entrepreneurs Alliance. So we got TEA, easier to remember. It has nothing to do with the Boston Tea Party in the States. Number one. So our very open, upright, straightforward, hardworking taxpayers, entrepreneurs, and a lot of people, the candidates come from the small business, family-owned or startup companies. So I think a lot of people from the South Asian community, from the India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and the Nepal, I think we are all migrants in the last 20 or 30 years. We are facing similar situations. That's why in our team, we got candidates from all over the 5 continents, from North America, Latin America, Asia, Antarctica, Europe, from New Zealand as well. So we are really open-minded, inclusive people. And majority of the candidates are young people born in their 80s and 90s. They are the most important people in the future of our country.
Right.
So the people from the South Asian community, about 250,000 more or less here. In the last 20 years, the new migrants coming to this country, they have added up about 1.2 million population. They come to this country with a great hope and dream to make a better living, better education for the children. But because of the background education experience, although before application for the category, whatever, they are approved. But when they settle out in New Zealand, which is totally different story, so they normally prevent from getting a suitable related job because of the lack of local education, local experience, blah, blah, which is a huge loss to New Zealand. So I think migrants should be treated as treasure rather than trash because their experience is priceless. They got the global connections, which is a country need. Currently, 1/5 of population are migrants. So that's very important. The migrants, especially the people from South Asian communities, need to be included in the thinking plan of our country.
So inclusiveness is the first important aspect for the Tea Party.
Correct. They should be treated as genuine New Zealanders rather than foreigners or migrants. Number two, the deeply concerned about the safety of the business and family. This year, the world entered unprecedented challenge of the COVID-19 and economic recession. A lot of people worry about their health, safety, job security, business prosperity. So currently the other big party or small party never really care about this category of the people. So New Zealand Tea Party are deeply concerned, worry about the safety next year. When the economy is in down and recession, the biggest two category of migrants, the Asian migrants especially, become the easy target of victims. So we need to be a little bit more tougher about the safety of the business people and the
What
family.
would you do, John, if you are in government with any major party?
I think in the past, the law enforcement a little bit too weak, take long time, not tough enough. That's why a lot of burglars, theft, or even some people lost their life. But the victims, their rights are not as equal as the people who committed, which send a very bad and poor message to the people. People don't worry about committing any crime because they are not equally punished according to the crime they have committed. So I think not only recruit more policemen on the beat, but I think the law enforcement need to be faster, tougher against some of the serious crime committed.
Okay. Then the third most important thing for you?
Third most important is currently the economic recovery. The currently two parties, I think, are losing their directions. In the year 2017, the coalition government, Labour, saying that within 10 years, they are going to deliver 100,000 houses. And in the end, a couple of 100 houses are bought rather than built. So Kiwi built ended in nowhere. And this year, strangely, National only changed one word. Within 10 years, National is going to deliver 100,000 jobs rather than houses. I think big parties, big promises. They have no idea what they are talking about. And it's very difficult to deliver. So I think New Zealand Tea Party, the people come from different backgrounds, entrepreneurs, business people, they got global perspective with local thinking. So think globally, act locally. So it could be an add-on for New Zealand. For example, education-wise, Tea Party is promoting global partners with top units from USA, UK, or Germany, etc. For example, the top 10. So set up a new campus in New Zealand so the global students can study in New Zealand so that we can export the education. And some talented people, because of loving New Zealand, they can stay here. So we get the people we want and also increase the revenue for the country for export. Tourism-wise, for example, current COVID-19, the different countries got different control system and it all differs. So we need to deal with different countries differently. For example, we can start have business, the big bubble among New Zealand, maybe Australia and Singapore. For example, through Singapore, we open a door for the South Asian countries. Currently, through Singapore, we got Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, for example. They got around 200 million middle classes. So if 1% people want to study here, want to travel here in New Zealand, I think our one of the top industry, tourism industry, will survive and recover soon.
You're good. John, Auckland is one of the major issues for both the parties. National Party has said they would revisit the council, and Labour has said that they would build better infrastructure. You've been a part of Auckland Council for many, many years, so you know the issues that Auckland faces. What would your party do to promote Auckland as a good business, to improve the infrastructure? What would you do?
Actually, I was running for the mayoralty last year, 2019, among the 21 mayoral candidates. I only campaigned for 3 weeks and came out top 4. Got more than 16,000 votes, and New Zealand Herald ranked me as the one of the 20.
How many votes you got?
More than 16,000. Yeah, only about 5 people got more than 10,000 votes. But I run as an independent, and only 3 weeks campaign. Number one, number two, and before I joined the political career, I was a council employee. I worked as a head of investment and international relationships in the last 10 years, from on and off from 2008 and 2018. So I'm responsible for bringing the major investors, such like the currently country claimed the successful project like a
you
Park
do
Hyatt
have
Hotel.
the contacts to bring major investors into Auckland.
Correct. I got global connection of investor to Auckland. So I think Auckland is it's the major city of our country, 1/3 of population, 38% of economy. It should put politics aside. We need to have the professionals who really know the city, run the city, rather than a professional politician run the city, which is a disaster. Currently, when we see the reader on Facebook, a lot of people complain severely strongly about the infrastructure, transportation, traffic jam, blah, blah. Last year, I mentioned about the second bridge, either tunnel or railway and bus connect together from the downtown city to the shore, rather than just one bridge. And a couple of weeks ago, because of the wind blown the truck away, so almost the city come to a standstill. It's a very
So are you
risky.
saying that you will bring in foreign investors to invest in infrastructure?
Definitely. Why I say that? Because when I'm instrumental to the only 5-star plus hotel in New Zealand, Park Hyatt Hotel in Baida Basin, at that time we leveraged the opportunity globally to Europe, to USA, to Australia, to Singapore, everywhere. Nobody come here to invest. Finally, through my connection, I got a top 100 investors, now filter, screen, then come to the top 10, top 3, so we find the right genuine investors. And now the hotel is already in operation. Yeah, so I think we have the opportunity to choose the right investors, right partners for our country, especially for Auckland. Auckland need to take a lead for the whole country. If Auckland wins, the whole country wins. If Auckland fails, the whole country fails because the scale and the global connections.
As they say, if Auckland is successful, the rest of New Zealand is successful.
Correct, I fully agree with that.
What else, John, that you consider important for our readers?
I think it's very important as a migrant because especially the first generation, we care about our survival to start with. So a lot of people have not much chance to know politics, to be involved with politics. So quite a few people do not vote as a result of that. So in New Zealand, it's very important everyone need to exercise the right to vote. If you do not vote, do not have your voice spoken out, then in the end, decisions are all made by the people who made for you. So you cannot complain. Complain does not make any result, does not deliver anything. So important to choose and vote the party who really come from your community, who really knows you, rather than just something like the vase standing or hidden as a decoration in certain corner. And New Zealand Tea Party, the people come from migrant communities in the last 20 or 30 years. They are the migrants, they know migrants. The migrants are the future New Zealanders. In fact, they are. So it's very important. We need to include the current 1.2 million population, especially about 500,000 population from the Asia, 250 around from the South Asian communities. They are very important, smart people. A lot of people couldn't get the job they used to do back home. So it's a huge waste and loss. They start to do something which totally is not their cup of tea, not their expertise. So it's a loss for the country and loss to themselves as well.
How is you're contesting from Takanini, which is a new constituency for us in New Zealand? How is the feeling there? What kind of response are you getting from the voters in Takanini constituency?
Actually, I have great confidence to be the first MP for Takanini, because currently Takanini is a new constituent coming originally from Honua, part of Manirua, part of Pawakura, part of Takanini, and part of Flatbush. And when we see the new development town of Flatbush area, 80% of the new houses development are contributed by the new migrants from India, and China communities, and of course from South Asian communities. So it shows a totally new perspective to the whole country, to the rest part of the Aucklanders. So this community combine about 35% of the population, and the other communities from original early European settlers, about 20 something, from the Pacifica about 15 something, and 10 from the Maori community. The rest 5 come from all different categories. So if this community vote for me, definitely I'll be the first MP for Takanini. Saying that because I got a global perspective, education, and act locally, I'm migrant, I know the migrant there. So when I do the door knocking and shopping in the Manuriwa shopping mall and other places, I met quite a few people from South Asian community shop owner. He said, "Oh, John, you are famous. We all vote for you." Because I treat myself generally as a New Zealanders, not only as a migrant who care about migrants. We care, concern about the development, the future, not only for ourselves, but for our children. Yeah. So Takanini, got other candidates. I know quite a few of them during the working relation in the past. Unfortunately, they fall into they chosen the wrong electorate. Yeah. So I think I'll be the first one to act, to work hard for Takanini. I'll try my best to make Takanini as the new town, exemplar town, to showcase to the rest of Aucklanders, to New Zealanders, and make it a gateway, the new economic hub connecting Hamilton, Tauranga, and Auckland.
Yeah. Thank you. You got last 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You can go for a final pitch.
Yeah, and the people from the readers from the Newslink, please spend your precious weekend. This weekend is vital for you to vote. Make yourself present, make yourself sing, make yourself heard. Together, we make Auckland a great city, make New Zealand an even beautiful place for our future generations, so that we do not need to migrate again.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
John.
you.
Thank you very much.